childish.
Thanks.
I mean, you just keep smiling today.
I mean,
Like,
but it's
literally.
like a cute type of childish, like,
Yeah,
Ease up
exactly,
there.
right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're
And
just
I
like,
think most
oh, she's
girls are
laughing,
kind of like
oh.
that.
Oh god.
Alright, so we're making a whole awkward thing about Alicia now as the center here, but
Yeah.
so let me
Apparently.
make it worse by
This is
what else am I
fabulous.
gonna do? What else am I gonna do? Let me make
Alright.
it worse by pointing out the thing that I just realized now about Alicia. Let me point that out. So when you right now, a moment ago, Aaron, when you said Alicia, you to my ear, you almost said it a little wrong, and I was like, oh my god, her name almost sounds like a sex thing. Like
What?
you don't have to stretch it that much. Alter her name a little bit, and it sounds like
Alicia?
yeah, alter her name just a little bit, and it sounds like an alternate term for a blowjob.
What?
Oh,
It's
Felicia.
not.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh god.
Your name is so close to Fellatio. I just realized
Man,
that.
that is far.
Felicia.
Man, no. That's
Oh,
such
Oh,
a
what a
reach.
stretch, bro.
Oh,
He
right.
stretched
Yeah,
harder
that's
than
what I
Mr.
was about to
Fantastic
say.
That
right
is
there.
such a reach.
I'm just saying, that's what came in my mind just then.
Ah, man. You're just.
One shot.
But now,
Shit,
is
you're
it a
just weird, dude.
coincidence? Is it a
Exactly.
coincidence? I think not. I think it's not a coincidence at all. I think
Yo,
I
did
think that's
they
very
did they revert that change to Widow?
I don't know.
I hope they did, man, because that's one of the reasons that I just fully dropped it. Just fucked with my muscle memory too much.
Double kill. Triple.
You're welcome, by the way, Alicia.
Too easy.
Yeah, thanks. I'm honored that crossed your mind
Boy.
when it came down to my name.
Yeah, you can thank Aaron for that. He helped me there quite a bit.
I didn't even say anything close to that.
You just all you did was say her name, and then for some reason the way that you said her name just threw me into that. Just somehow, like
I don't know how you got fellatio from Alicia. Like,
Right?
you added so many
Yeah,
things
I
onto
don't
that
know.
word, and it's like, can you really blame me for that?
It just sounded so like obvious in that moment. I don't know why it just did.
Le baiser de la
Awkward silence. Thanks, Kevin.
double.
Yeah, so,
I gotta
dude, are you
focus
really
up.
gonna go Stadia soon?
I think so, bro.
I was really considering that shit, because, they have Destiny at 60 FPS.
Yeah, that's really the only reason I would do it.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of cheap to get into too. So
It
like,
really is.
And you have cross save.
Yeah, you have cross save, and depending on what, they were saying that Destiny comes with Stadia Pro. So if you subscribe to Stadia Pro, you
Yeah.
have that shit. So
Yeah,
I really might get into that.
Triple kill.
yeah, bro.
Quadruple
Next month, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
kill.
Cause I want to play Destiny, bro.
Yeah, I did
It's
like
like-
the content that we were playing, but the fucking 30 FPS is unbearable.
Yeah, it is.
In first person, I just can't do that shit. If it's a third person game, I can deal with it.
Yeah, it's like way more excusable. To be
Yeah,
honest.
but first person, I couldn't
Cannot
even
justify
aim,
that
bro.
shit.
I was like missing everything.
Yeah, bro. It's like I could see the cracks in the fucking textures better than I could actually see enemies, bro. Like, what the fuck?
man. And then like what makes it crazy is some dude a while ago, when I was like only playing Destiny, he hopped in
Yeah.
from Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and he put his sensitivity all the way up, and he's like, dude, I put my sensitivity all the way up, and it still feels so slow.
Yeah,
And that,
bro.
when I was talking to him, I'm like, dude, you're crazy. Like
Triple kill.
that sensitivity is fast as hell, right?
Yeah.
Not really. And then I was like, dude, you're probably just noticing the FPS, but I didn't put two and two together that does make your reaction slower. Like having 30 FPS makes your reactions slower in first person games because you're seeing shit
Yeah.
slower. The frames are updating slower, so then You're just
Yeah,
off
bro.
as fuck. Nah, they didn't revert that Widow change. Yeah, they did not revert it. It still feels off. I'm adjusting to it though, since I haven't played it in a while.
Double kill.
Alright, so Antoine, I can't move out until I pay the bill first.
Freeze, huh? Oh, your fucking
They don't let you-
expensive ass home.
Yeah, they don't let you... No, not my phone, the rent. They don't
I
let
said
you move out
home.
until you pay the rent first.
Yeah, I said home, not phone. Home.
Man, I'm telling you, they're making The Sims a little too realistic these days. $3,000
Man,
rent.
I think Kevin might actually need to get his hearing checked, bro. Like, he got fellatio out of Alicia.
It's not that I heard you say that. Is that the way I heard you say that gave me the idea of that? I'm not saying you said it. I'm saying you saying it for whatever reason gave me that idea.
So you heard Felicia.
I didn't hear Felicia. I heard you say Alicia, and then for some reason that started a series of events in my head that led with what you heard, with what I ended up saying. And I'm
That's
sure
some crazy shit.
I'm sure Alicia's very disappointed in all of us. Mostly.
Why would she be disappointed in me?
I have no reason.
Because you guys didn't stop me. You guys actually let me say the dumb shit I was gonna say.
And I
You gotta
wanted to know
blame
where
us
it
for
was
that
going.
bullshit.
Of course, I gotta blame somebody, and I,
I
can't
wasn't
blame
expecting
you. I'm innocent in all
a
of this.
fucking Omega Reach, dude. The fuck?
It was not an Omega reach. It was like an 11 out of 10 reach
And
at best.
that was a mad reach.
It really was though.
That wasn't even a Halo reach.
You were Elastigirl
He
out
said
here,
that wasn't
bro.
even a Hillary.
Exactly. That's like extreme. That wasn't an extreme. That was like a little out of my way. Just like going to the grocery store. Let me stop by this other place first. That's like a couple blocks. And,
This Baptiste buff is lit.
What did they buff?
They increased the time on his jump, so it's like you kneel a little, but you get your jump faster.
Yeah.
Alright, so I've been dying to talk about this, and I told Antoine, because I wanted Alicia to hop in first before I talked about it. It's not anything bad this time, or at least it's not anything bad involving your name this time, I can assure you of that. So,
Okay.
Don't listen to him.
no, I mean, it's gonna be dumb, it's just not gonna be about her name. So I bought some DLC for the game I'm playing right now, The Sims. It was $10, and guess what content it adds to your game? Please, take a guess and then I'll tell you. It's very underwhelming. It's very underwhelming. Go
A
ahead.
new outfit?
A new outfit. Damn, that would be even worse, I think, yeah.
It would be pretty bad, yeah.
$10 for one outfit, yes. I think normally you do pay $10 for outfits, but it's usually like a bunch of outfits. But yeah, $10 for a single outfit would actually be worse than this. Alright, so that's Alicia's guess. Anyone else want to hazard a guess here? $10, underwhelming, what do you think it is?
Triple kill.
And it's The Sims, so obviously it's nothing like, oh, they added first-person shooting. Just what
Cars?
life thing? Cars. That would honestly be pretty dope if they added cars, but no, they didn't add cars. That would actually be pretty dope. So Alicia undersold it, you oversold it. Aaron, you don't have to guess if you don't want to, man, but you want to take a guess?
Ah, shit.
$10 for Sims DLC content. What do you think?
Did they add
added?
more in-depth cooking?
No, they didn't do that. But you're on the right track. You're on the right track. You're the closest so far.
I give up.
No, that's fine. I only wanted everybody to guess once anyway. So okay, we'll just skip Aaron then because I guess he's not. It's okay. No. So paying $10, and now you can do laundry.
What?
What?
Why did you pay for that, dude? What are you doing?
Stupid! What?
Paying $10 to virtually do laundry.
Man, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god, that's fucking. That's on a whole nother level. It's
And
fucking
I mean,
retarded.
look. They charge
Evan
you
is
40
throwing at
bucks.
life.
Imagine, imagine you paid $10 in a game to do laundry, but then you'd never do your actual laundry.
That's actually what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see how long I can go without doing laundry before my Sims just have to be naked.
Double kill.
Which is a real thing. That's a real thing. That happens. But for 10 bucks, you know, I expect some realism. But look, they charge 40 bucks, all right, so that your sim can go to college. That's the thing. There's $40 DLC, so your sim can go to one of 2 colleges. It's your choice. So basically, you're paying 20 bucks each for 2 colleges. So yes, $10 for laundry is not a stretch. They've done other things like there's a $20 pack that increases that fleshes out parenting. So parenting can be more realistic. You gotta teach your kids to wash dishes, and it's really just washing dishes.
Yeah, you just
Basically-
make,
Crazy.
you just make your
Basically-
kids slaves.
Yeah, for 20 bucks, you can make you can make your kids do chores and teach them manners and stuff like that. So yeah, so imagine if that's what they charge for 40 bucks going to college, and then 20 bucks they charge fleshing out parenting. Yeah, for 10 bucks you can actually do laundry.
No.
Got my little
Oh, upsetting.
Got my washer and dryer here. Just gonna watch my sim do laundry for 10 bucks.
That is so
That's the
trash.
most exciting thing ever.
Why did you
Just,
buy
know,
that?
Watch
Okay, so you
your
want to
sim do
know why?
laundry.
You want to know why I did that? Did you
Yes.
say there's something wrong with me? Did Lisa just say there's something wrong with me?
No.
What did you say? You said something, but I was talking over you.
I said that's the most exciting thing, just watching your sim do the laundry.
Okay, so you didn't say that there's something wrong with me, but the tone that you said that is definitely always. Okay, so you want to know why I spent? I mean, obviously, there's not going to be any way to justify it, right? Like, even if I said, "Dude, I just found 10 bucks out in the street and I bought Sims laundry," even that wouldn't be justifiable. I'm sure even if I said, "Dude, a guy put a gun to my head, said buy $10 Sim laundry,"
I'd have been like, dude, I would have died.
Okay, so here's the reason, the real reason. No, I'm not even gonna shitpost about it. It's gonna be the real reason. I did it because I could, just for the flex.
Oh,
just
God.
for the flex. I did it just for the flex. Hey, I spent 10 bucks on Sims laundry.
Oh my god.
Like literally spent 10 bucks just to do laundry in a game. I mean, in a game about simulated life, what did you think they were gonna charge you 10 bucks? I mean, cars honestly would have been pretty nice.
Fucking Kevin's just in the fucking room like I'm folding clothes on these hoes, bro. What the fuck?
You can actually do that. Look. For 10 bucks, they added a washer and a dryer, and then they also added clothes hampers. They added like a bucket with like a screen that you can like manually wash your clothes, you know, like the old way. And they added one of those clothes hangers that you put outside to dry clothes. You know, one of those, you know, little.
Motherfucker said I'm folding clothes on these hoes.
That's the flex. That's the flex.
That motherfucker sitting there like the trifold is the new meta, bitch.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
I mean, look, you guys, this is an EA game. What did you think?
Watch them fucking come out with a DLC where they have like a machine that folds the clothes for you,
Hell
and then
yeah.
it's like the other $10 you paid to fold your own clothes becomes completely worthless. Like what
Believe
the
it or not, they actually did this only once so far. They've only done this once. They released DLC that is literally an expansion of existing DLC, which they've never done that for this game before. Yeah, so what that means is if you buy that DLC, you literally cannot use it unless you buy a previous DLC.
Damn, dude.
Oh.
That's what that means. And they did that, surprisingly, they only did that once. They only did a DLC they can only use if you buy a previous DLC once. And people hated it, and I think they're not going to do it again because they got a lot of backlash for it. But it is EA, so maybe they will do it again.
And I feel like
Man.
EA has just been out here cucking people before we even noticed it, bro.
Yeah.
Of course.
And
Man,
then
I spent $10
whatever
on
community
laundry.
they were cucking people in just didn't say shit,
But
I
it's
mean,
not
The
enough of them
Sims-
to say anything.
right?
I mean, The Sims has always been like this, honestly. I mean, but they've always been owned by EA, so they've always done college as a $40 expansion and celebrities as a $40 expansion. Your sim can become a celebrity if you pay $40.
The fuck?
And yes, I did buy that.
Wait for it.
I bought a lot of DLC. I'm pretty sure I paid for this game 5 times over with the amount of DLC that I bought.
Oh man. No wonder why EA is so shitty.
Right.
Double kill.
I only buy them when they're on sale, though. But I'll admit, the laundry
Was
one
it?
wasn't on sale.
No, never mind. That was 2K games, right? That broken ass WWE game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's too good. And I bought that game. I bought that game.
This man just be getting straight cooked.
I bought a $60.
They'd be like, "Yo, Kevin, here's this new game." Then he bends over to pick it up and they whisper in his ear.
Let me explain to them, because they don't understand how bad this is. They don't understand. So I knowingly, so this game isn't actually all that bad. It's a little buggy. The problem is that 2K18, I believe, I think it was 2K18, maybe it was 2K19, either one. They ported it to the Switch, and the Switch port, which is the one that I bought, was horrible. It was literally unplayable. The game freezes. The frame rate is like 10 frames a second when you have more than 2 people on screen at the same time.
What gets
The sound-
in FPS?
The sound is out of sync, like horribly out of sync from the actual like punches and stuff. And I knew that, and I bought it anyway for the Switch. $60.
Oh my god. Why?
And I had 300 hours played on that game.
I'm telling you, man. They were like, "Here's this new game," and he bent down to pick it up.
They
They
shut the
whispered in
fucking
his ear.
No
I'm
lube.
not using you.
I had 300 hours on that game, okay? So I still enjoyed it,
Oh, God.
despite it being a mess.
He was just there like, "Yes, 2K, do it again, yes."
Oh god, no. Oh, god, no.
Double kill.
I eventually deleted the game. Like
After
yesterday.
spending $60 on it.
I mean, that's what they charged.
Double
What was I gonna do? Say, hey, give me this for $30. I mean, honestly, for how
shit.
horribly unplayable it was, they probably should have charged for $30. Oh, and don't even think about going online because it wouldn't even connect online. You couldn't find anybody.
Yeah, because nobody bought that shit
Who the
because they
fuck-
were smart.
It's not, and it wasn't even just that. The people who did actually have the game, they literally couldn't find each other because for whatever reason, the servers were just not there for the game. The netcode was just shit for that port of that game. So nobody found each other, and even if they did, the game would have just frozen anyway.
double kill. Triple kill.
That game was a piece of shit, and yet somehow I still played it a lot.
And you bought that shit fully knowing it was a piece of shit?
Yeah, I knew it was horrible when I still bought it anyway.
And stay down.
Hell,
And
man.
that time I didn't do it for the flex. That time it was because I had not played a WWE game in so long, and then look when I finally decided to buy a WWE game again. At the
Should have bought
worst
it on your
possible
PS4. At least it was a little better.
I didn't have a PS4 then.
I swear you did.
I did not have a PS4 then.
Oh, fair enough.
I would have bought it for the PS4 if I had a PS4.
You still would have bought it. What the
No,
fuck?
I would have bought the PS4 version. Which the only problem with the PS4 version was that it was buggy. Like not like the game would freeze buggy, just like, you know, arms would stretch pretty far, stuff like that.
Double kill.
But the Switch version
I heard it was worse
literally-
than that, but
I mean, yeah, the animations would get weird, the models would stretch around. It would be weird. It would be weird to look at, but it was nothing game breaking.
I'm just saying, you knowingly bought a broken ass game. What the fuck?
Yes, but the Switch version was legitimately unplayable. It was.
At least the Destiny community got fucking bamboozled. Your ass was just there like, man, I know exactly what I'm getting into. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, reviewers warned. Reviewers warned not to buy the Switch version of the game, and I did anyway, because I was like, bitch, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Even I can't tell me what not to do.
Did I have enough aim train?
But yes, now everyone here is really wondering. There is definitely something wrong with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but who hasn't bought a game they knowingly knew was garbage?
I've never done that.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
I mean, we've all been there.
Nah, we really haven't.
Double kill.
We've all been there.
Triple kill.
Set 'em up, knock 'em down.
I can't be alone in this. There's no way I can't be alone in this.
You are
Oh yeah,
definitely
you're
alone.
definitely alone in this.
Double kill.
Someone out there, man. But like, someone out there has to know
Ah,
this
man,
thing.
you're the only cuck here.
Man, I'm really walking a lonely road.
You're
now.
a cook on an island, bro.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Wait, if I'm a cook on an island, doesn't that mean I'm cooking myself?
And there's nothing to eat.
Double kill.
I mean, there's sand everywhere.
Double kill.
That motherfucker is literally the people I complain about in the gaming community.
For
Just
real, though.
complacent as fuck. And then they're just like, dude, why is EA so shitty? It's like, bro, look what you're doing. Of course. They know they can get away with it.
And you'd think I'd learn my lesson, but then here I am buying $500 worth of DLC on Sims.
Ah, man.
I mean, look, is the problem that they're overcharging, or the problem is that the content is not, like... I mean, but it's the same. Yeah, like, if the problem is that they're overcharging for the content, I completely agree. If the problem is that it's not entertaining content, well, that's subjective. The Sims
The problem is
literally
that they're
just-
overcharging. Because,
That's fair.
okay,
That is honestly fair.
They're flagrantly overcharging.
the way you do it, right?
That's
That's just
fair,
The
Tom.
Sims, right? You should have, like... So you pay $10 to wash clothes, correct?
Yes.
Now, what I would have been okay with is if you pay $10 to wash clothes and they added cars and fucking whatever else, right? But no, that didn't happen. They're just like, oh,
Well,
nah, man.
I
just wash
paid
clothes.
$10, and then they added the washing mechanic, you know, where your clothes can now get dirty and you can wash them, and then they also added new clothes and new furniture. I agree. No, I still agree that it's not worth $10. I still agree.
Yeah.
They added a fair number of clothes, a fair number of... I wish they'd added more clothes and more furniture, but they didn't add that many clothes or that many furniture. I still agree that it is overcharged. I still completely agree.
Alright, well, as long as
But
you
it's
know
not yet.
you got cooked.
So this is what they call a stuff pack, which is literally you're paying $10 just for new clothes and new items to put in your
A
house.
stuff pack?
Yeah, that's what they call the $10 ones because they're
That's
literally they don't
bullshit.
they call them that because they don't add.
You're paying $10 for stuff. Like, come on,
Yeah.
bruh.
Double
That's what they call it. Look, they have 3 different kinds of packs, and they're
If you buy, that's like buying a $300 mystery box, bro. It's like, oh man, this thing's only $300. You never know what you're gonna get. Like, come on, man, bro.
in this case, you know what you're gonna get. It's the same furniture. Everyone gets the same furniture and the same clothes. Like, for
Stuff
example-
pack.
Like for example, this laundry one that I paid $10 for, and I keep bringing that up just so people can continue to humiliate me.
That man said for the flex, bro. I did it for the flex.
I did it for that, and also because I wanted the new
Oh,
furniture.
man.
So when you buy this, it comes with a lot of wicker furniture, like wicker
Look at
chairs
that.
and wicker. It's like wood, like little wooden threads almost.
Gotcha.
Like, you know, how would I don't know how Alicia, you know what wicker is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine almost like furniture made out of straw. almost.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I
But
got
it's
you.
wood. But it's wood. Wicker is some kind of wood.
Double kill.
So yeah, you're paying $10 for laundry, and then mostly wicker themed furniture like tables and chairs and
Double kill.
couches and stuff like that. So yeah, they charge 40, 20, and 10 respectively. 10 is their stuff pack. $20 is what they refer to as their game packs because it actually adds a new gameplay feature. And then $40 are what they refer to as their expansion packs because they tend to add a new neighborhood and a lot of shit. Now, I tend to wait for them to go on sale because usually when they do a sale, it's 50% off. So you're paying $5. So if I paid $5 for to be able to do laundry and then like an assortment of clothing and furniture, I personally think that that's a fair price. $5 for this, I think, is a fair price.
Yeah, $5 would have been fine, but 10?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Now I admit that I admit that in order to make it fair in terms of the price, everything that they sell, the expansion should be 20. Everything should be cut in half. The expansion should be 20. The game pack should be 10, and then the stuff pack should be 20.
In all honesty, they shouldn't break it all up like that.
Yeah, they really
It should
should.
be $10 for the whole thing.
Yeah, I just say they shouldn't break it up like that. If they should have one thing for $30 that includes all that shit.
That includes what, like 3 different game features?
Yeah, 3 different game features and fucking, new
See, but then,
clothes.
okay, but then hold on,
and
but that's not
whatnot.
viable anymore in there. Like that's not profitable anymore in there. And I think it's fair if they just it would be better if they did combine things, and they do, but the savings aren't really worth it to buy it all 3 together. They bundle them, but they only knock like $5 off the price or something like that.
Yeah, that's trash.
So yeah, the problem
Is that
is
really not profitable?
Look, it's not EA saying this, it's the actual development team for this that admits it wouldn't be profitable if they did it like that. It's the development team there, Maxis.
Alright.
They're the ones that say it wouldn't be profitable if they did it like that. So this is their doing, not EA, and
Yeah, I don't know if I believe all that, but okay.
what I do think is fair, and they've never said this isn't the case, I do think if they sold everything as is, even as broken up as it is, if they sold all of it for 50% off, they would make a profit. Maybe not as big a profit as they want, but I'm sure they're making a profit there. I mean, $5 for reskinned chairs that don't act differently, they just look different. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair. $5.
Can you even sit in chairs in that game?
Yes. It's a lifesaver.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Have you never played The Sims before?
Maybe when I was like in kindergarten or some shit.
And, well, yes, you can sit in chairs. You pay rent, and you eat food, and you cook food, and now you can do laundry for $10. Now you can do laundry. You can get a job. Oh, that's another thing too. Sometimes a pack will include, and this I wish they didn't do. If you want a specific job, you have to buy the pack that job is attached to. Like for example, you have to buy the Island Living $40 expansion pack, which lets you live on the beach. It adds a beach neighborhood that you can start building houses on.
And this all
And it
sounds
also-
so bad.
And it also adds the marine biologist career. And if you want the marine biologist career, you got to buy this $40 expansion pack.
So how much is the base game?
The base game, I don't think the base game is $60 anymore. Right now, the base game is free because it's the free game of the
Yeah,
month.
but I mean, like when it released, how much was it?
I think I only paid like $30 for it. Maybe 40. I might have paid $40 for it. But I think by now the game is probably like 30 or something.
I honestly feel like that game would be better off if they had a $60 price tag and didn't fucking nickel and dime you.
They never do. I don't think in the history of the game they've ever like years. Like this game is 5 years old right now. I don't think they've ever re-released a game with all the shit included. I don't think they've ever done it. I'm not saying they shouldn't, and I'm not saying it wouldn't be justified. Obviously, by the time they're done supporting the game and they're gonna move on to the next Sims game, I think it's completely in their best interest to re-release the last Sims game with all the shit included for just $60 at that point.
Yeah, but then why would you buy the new one?
That's a great point. That's the thing. No one really buys a new one as soon as it comes out because it's usually sort of void of content, which is why they then release DLC after the fact.
Going somewhere.
Oh, here's another thing. You gotta pay $10 if you want to have Halloween as a holiday. If you want that holiday
That's
to
fucking
exist,
crazy, bro.
you want
You
your
gotta
holiday
pay to
to
get
exist.
into the event.
You're coming.
You
That
gotta
is
pay
fucking stupid.
to have Halloween. They include April Fool's Day and Christmas and Thanksgiving in the base game, but if you want Halloween, you gotta pay $10.
To offer. My resources are quite substantial.
And it
I
also
wish
comes with a lot of-
Apex showed your fucking latency in the top left.
An introduction.
So Alicia, how are you feeling about all this? You've been pretty quiet. They've been very vocal, but you've been very quiet.
Oh, because I'm focused.
What are you playing, babe?
My
I'm
friend,
not playing anything, I'm
the
writing.
world
Oh, okay.
doesn't understand.
Probably writing a complaint letter on my behalf to EA.
No.
You guys have way overcharged my friend Kevin. I'm like,
She
yeah.
sent in one of those letters to EA talking about how they have like a mentally ill person playing their shit that actually buying all of
Taking
it.
advantage of my friend Kevin with special needs.
Like my friend has spent over $2,000 just on fucking chairs and laundry detergent in your game. Like you actually need to do something about this. I'm going to the authorities and reporting you motherfuckers, bro. Like,
Alright, that was a bit harsh. Damn. This man is acting like I said something about his name.
Oh.
Ah, shit.
are you playing Overwatch, bro?
Yeah, I just invited you.
You did?
E.
So here's something I paid $40 for. The $40
I don't have
There
a
you go.
invite. That's sweet. Luckily, it shows you online, bro.
The fuck, dude? I just spammed the invite.
It'd be like that sometimes.
He really is, because I see it.
I'm not saying I don't believe him. I'm saying I didn't get it. What are we doing, bro?
Accusations are just being thrown all over the place.
It don't
here.
matter to me, dude. I honestly rather play a regular game.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about roll queue.
But guys, like if you saw this sleek ass looking toilet, you would pay $40 like I did to get that toilet.
Man,
Oh, God.
fuck no. $40?
$40 just to shit on some shit, bro. Like, come on.
No, man.
Obviously, the $40 wasn't just for the toilet. The $40 added celebrities. And you know what you could do when you have a celebrity? Now there's a new interaction at your computer. You can live stream games for $40. Your sim can virtually live stream games on his computer for $40.
Well, that's some bullshit.
And shit in a sleek looking toilet for $40. It is a sleek looking toilet, but of course, I'm not gonna sit here and say this thing is worth $40 because if I did,
A
Man, at least
virtual
it's-
toilet. So not only are you paying for something you shit in, you don't even actually get the shit in it, bro. Like,
nah, man. If I want- Nah, I'm gonna have to shit on the actual box if I want to say I shit on something that costs $40.
oh,
But yeah, so you guys get the point now. I could go on, but you guys get the point. Yeah, I've dumped a lot of money into this. Not all at once. I hope at least, I know that doesn't make it better, but I hope that's at least out there. I didn't spend all that money all at once. This
And I
was,
can't
you know,
believe,
slow.
I just cannot believe that
That I paid $10 for
they
laundry.
have
I know.
No, I cannot believe that they can't make a profit if they don't nickel and dime you like they are. That's just hard to believe.
Well, look, if you're saying that you want them to include, because it is a lot of stuff. Like, if you buy all of the DLC, you do have a lot more content in all of that DLC combined than you do in the base game, like 7 times over.
Oh, it's always simple.
So no, I don't
It's
think
not
that
even about the content though. It's just
I mean, look,
their excuse for having
agree.
microtransactions and shit is like, oh man, games are getting more expensive. I don't think he's just talking about Sims. I think he's talking about like just generally in games. Period. Like to have anybody sitting there thinking like fucking game developers are on the street starving their asses off because you know games are going up in prices and shit. It's like that's just not true, bro. It's like the argument is so stupid.
That's not usually how it goes. When game companies are struggling, it's not that they get shut down immediately. Usually what happens first is that they downsize.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what I'm trying
That
to
I
say
know
is...
of.
right?
That I know of. I don't think this company that makes this game has ever downsized. I don't think they have ever struggled. That I know of.
I feel like that company would be much better off if they
bundled some of
released...
the packs together. Like I know you're not saying all of them. You're saying they could definitely take a few
So
of them.
okay, wait, look. So you pay $10 for laundry, and then motherfuckers pay, what did you say, $40 for fucking college and shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so why not just have
Laundry
the
and
base
college
game?
together.
No. Why not have the base game already including laundry? Then have like whatever.
Well, the reason they
other...
didn't do that is because it is kind of annoying. Like, because here's what happens: if you don't buy that pack, your sim takes a shower and then they immediately just put the same clothes right back on. Right? What you're doing is you're paying $10 so that every time they take a shower, the last set of clothing they were wearing is now dirty and now you have to wash it. Not everybody wants an annoying feature like that in their game, just like that. So if you want an annoying feature like that in your game, you got to pay $10 for it.
And
Prepare for battle.
I still didn't make it any better.
I don't care anymore. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not defending it by telling you that's.
I don't think
I'm not
you
defending
are,
it by saying
man.
that.
But
I'm telling you that's
you're
what
missing
the case is.
point.
I'm not missing the point because I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you what is going on. I'd be missing the point if I were defending them by saying this, but I'm not defending them by saying this. I'm just telling you that's what they're doing.
At least
Like, yeah, the reason they didn't include that in a bundle with something else is because not everyone wants that. And there are some people out there, which, honestly, it is kind of surprising. There are people out there who do want this and are willing to pay money for it. Because the whole draw of this game is, the entire point of playing this game is that it's a life simulator. And not having laundry in the base game makes it a little bit less like life. Because in life, we've got to wash our clothes. And some people are willing to pay the extra $10 to make their life simulation game more lifelike by adding a feature that honestly is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
But that's what the draw is. Like, does anybody at least get that? At least, like, what
I get that it's a life sim, but my problem is...
I know, and I agree completely that they are, in fact, overcharging. They do sales a lot. There's no way that they're not making a profit if they go on sale that often. Like, every 2 or 3 months there's always a sale.
I think they're going on sale because nobody's buying that shit.
Right?
But they're like, oh man, we can make some money off of this. Or are we just ending here, bro? That's unfortunate.
Maybe you guys are distracted listening to my dumbass paying $10 for laundry.
How do you look me from that far, bro? Our tanks don't even move up.
Oh,
They're just standing
fucking
on the
doofus,
ridge.
dude. Well, they moved up now. A little bit.
and she's back in the game.
Jesus, man. And then the Tracer's just trying her ass off, bro.
She really is. though.
And it is a bit predatory because, again, when you're buying these packs, you're usually not just buying some little added gameplay feature. You're usually also buying them for whatever furniture and clothing they include. And it's kind of predatory because there are plenty of people who, like, want to dress their sim a certain way or they want to make their house look a certain way with certain kinds of furniture, and they can't unless they buy a specific DLC pack. So that I also admit is a bit...
Oh my god, I didn't think he was trying to go for me with that punch.
He wasn't. He just happened to hit you.
And if I gotta be honest, that's the majority of the reason why I continue to buy DLC. It's because I mainly want the extra stuff that comes. Not necessarily just the gameplay feature that it adds, but also because of all the extra clothing and furniture items it adds. So I can, make this house look like a real house.
I got a hook and tracer on me, bro. Bro, heal me. What the fuck? She's right next to me.
God damn it. Oh my god, Doomfist is so broken!
So Alicia, you never did tell us what you were writing.
A poem. Very, it's a very deep poem.
Ah, it's a poem about your concern for your mentally ill friend.
No.
I slept on my side too.
Okay.
It's gonna take forever.
No, I didn't get to blink.
Damn, bro. I keep sleeping the tracer. Nobody shoots her, dude. Feels bad.
Hi there.
Get into position. Score.
Alright, so I'm gonna hop onto a real game now, guys.
Instead of the
Fucking
life
Sims
sim
4.
that's price gouging it.
Look, it's my one indulgence. Alright, let me indulge. I've always liked The Sims.
And that's one of those things where it's like just inherently you should be ashamed that you even play it. So it's like you should never like really be trying to bring up conversations about that shit. It's like you're playing it and then your friends notice you play it and then you're just like, oh yeah man, I played this game a little bit, man. Like nothing too big.
Well, I admit I should be ashamed that I bought WWE. Even honestly, even if the game worked perfectly fine, I should still be ashamed because
Not really, because the game is more real than the actual wrestling, bro.
No, but the thing is, I should be ashamed even if the game were perfectly fine because the actual company is disgusting. The actual wrestling company is disgusting, and they're making money off of me buying this game. That's much better.
Bro, where are our healers, dude? That's crazy.
I don't think people should be ashamed for playing simulation games. I mean, probably shouldn't be proud about how much they spent on it. I'll admit that, but I don't think you should be ashamed just for playing The Sims. I'm not crazy about the fact that they're published by EA either.
How'd they hit me? I'm around the corner. What do you mean?
Our tanks are getting pushed to hell.
Oh yeah, because they suck. I got a Roadhog for no reason.
Hey Antoine, do you happen to know if Alicia ever actually played those Uncharted games that she wanted to buy?
She's played some of them, I'm sure.
Is that Alicia right there?
No, she's not.
She
Right?
might be back.
Well, if she's back, she can answer me then. I don't know why I'm wasting my time asking you. But I'm not talking about like previous Uncharted games. I'm talking about the two, I think, specifically that she wanted to buy.
I think she played all of them except for 4.
No, again, I'm not talking about previous Uncharted. I'm talking about the two that she wanted to buy recently. The two that I believe it was 2. Remember that we helped her get them.
She wanted to
buy Uncharted, and then she wanted to buy 2 other games.
Oh, you're
and some
talking.
DLC.
You're not talking Uncharted. You're talking the other games.
No, I am talking Uncharted, but you keep telling me.
Okay,
oh,
look. Out of all the Uncharteds that are released, she has played all except 4. Except number 4. That
Is
should
that the
answer
one
your
you-
question.
I don't know if it does. That's why I'm asking.
Oh my god, bro. That's so dumb.
Which one did she buy? Do you know which one she bought?
Pretty sure she bought 4.
Alright, and she has not played that yet.
Yes.
Because I did ask her to stream it when she did, and I don't know if she ever played it.
Play of the game.
Alright. And that's the most recent one, I'm guessing, right?
You might want to keep your distance.
Uncharted 4.
Double
About Uncharted 4?
That's the most recent one, right?
Yes.
Alright.
epic.
That match was fucking stupid.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh damn, I thought you were the group.
Loot box.
Is there even a skin that I want right now? Let me look at this shit. Hero gallery, what's new?
Man, Sigma got some good shit, bro. I like the Ana and the Forest skin.
The Honest skin is pretty dope.
I don't like the gun model though, it's just whack.
What, for Ana?
Yeah. The gun model's too fucking big.
Fair enough. Yeah, the Farah skin is actually really nice.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like the Zarya skin too, though.
That shit look kinda weird.
I just like how different it looks.
Yeah, true.
This emote is dope.
Oh, so Antoine.
Rig.
Yeah, I still hate that fucking character.
Are you gonna pick up? I mean, you kind of have to.
I kind of have to what?
The game coming out next month, Resident Evil 3 remake.
If
picking
Corona
up-
doesn't fuck my savings.
Well, I mean, you don't gotta get her on release day, but you gotta get her at some point, so you and me can do the multiplayer on that.
Sure.
Hey, there we go.
Oh,
You're gonna hate the single player though, but you gotta at least try the single player. Aaron, you ever play Resident Evil?
yeah, I played 5, I played 6, 7, 2. I think I played 3 before, it was a long ass time ago.
Damn, so you played all of them except 4.
You should play the remakes, dude.
Yeah, you should. You should play
Thanks.
it. There's only one remake right now.
Yeah.
That
Not
shit
really
is
into
so
that
fucking
shit
dope.
It is though. The remakes are really good. You should try them.
I watched them. I've watched playthroughs and shit, but
That shit
not a
was a
game I would
game of
buy.
the year contender.
Well, I mean, that's not saying much because Antoine personally believes it was a slow year anyway.
It was, but
that's
the
why I
remake
laugh.
making game of the year is fucking crazy.
Look, again,
Yeah.
you keep saying that, but this... like, you keep saying that, but you know that this is... When you remake a game as old as the original Resident Evil 2, it's literally a new game. Literally, in
Yeah.
every sense.
That is
It
fair.
is, but
It's
it's
like if they
still not
remade...
though. It's still a remake.
Only in terms of the story. Even the layout was changed. Even
Yeah.
even the map,
True.
the structure of the map. They added the stairs in the first floor lobby because
Yeah,
the first
there's-
game had a
There was
ladder.
no stairs.
Yeah, exactly. They restructured the map. I am sure they also redid the puzzles. I'm sure they didn't leave the puzzles exactly the same. That way, people who play the original can just breeze through the puzzles in the remake. So I'm sure you're like 75% kidding and like 25% serious about that. But I think it's fair.
Oh yeah, Sekiro won a Game of the Year last year. Forgot about this shit. Sekiro deserved it. But damn, it's hard. Like, Death Stranding was absolute trash. Control was really good.
Yeah, that shit was a sleeper hit, man.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Didn't Kingdom Hearts come out last year? Or was that the year before last?
The year before last.
Whatever year had Spider-Man, that was the best year.
That was the year before last.
Yeah, year before last.
Yeah, that was the best fucking year, dude. Fucking.
Yeah. I still think Horizon's probably better than that game, though.
Horizon's probably better than what?
Than Spider-Man and God of War, bro.
What?
Like, that game's... Yeah, dude. That game's that good.
What?
God of War, I feel, primarily won because of their story, which was honestly very good.
Yeah, so the story is out here. But Spider-Man was just like...
I had a feeling that... Like,
Spider-Man's good, it's just like, Spider-Man was just...
It was practically a tech demo.
Not really. I wouldn't go that far.
It practically was, because this is the thing. That tends to be the case when they want to start a franchise. With the first installment and what they want to start a franchise off of...
That was better than... It was... I wouldn't go that far. Spider-Man was just genuinely a great game. Like, just up and down.
No, it was a good game. I just feel like they held back because they want to do more with the sequel. Which is fair, but then don't complain if it doesn't win.
Yeah, that could be true.
I think you can feel it. I think when playing the game, like, yes, it is a good game. It's a nice sized map. It's got good controls. The story is also good too. It felt a bit short to me. I don't know if anyone else felt that way. It felt a bit short. The story felt a bit short to me. Like, it definitely felt like it was mainly padding out its hours with the collectibles. You know, the side
I think
content.
if you played the original Spider-Man games that came out on like PS2 and PS3 and shit,
I did actually.
Yeah.
Once
honestly, the story is about as long as those are.
They are, I know, but that's not a good comparison because those movies were literally just to sell them. Those games were literally just to sell the movies they were based off of. Those Spider-Man games were just.
Well, I mean, not just like the movie games. I'm talking about like any Spider-Man game.
I mean, I think that's a shame. Like, I get it. They're probably doing a story that's fairly short because, like, they want the games to feel like comic books or movies, so they have to have some
I don't think the story was short. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. It's like, I really don't think the story was short.
I feel if you compare it to non-comic book games...
Holy shit.
I think you do see that it is pretty short.
What the fuck, bro? This shit is straight left.
And Resident Evil is short as hell too, but that's because apparently it's part of the fun is replaying it.
What's with all the damn Genji players?
That's the thing.
Oh my god, bro! What are we doing? Our fucking Hammond is nowhere near the team, swinging around doing nothing.
It ain't my time.
So is it me or are short games that look really good just becoming the norm right now?
Oh, did you walk right past the brig?
Oh yeah, I did. I was getting fucked up. And I was low as shit.
I was healing you, bro.
You guys get what I mean? Like
You
short
said short
games
games are.
that look really good. Short games that look really good are kind of the normal $60 price tag right now. Like I'm looking at some prime examples. Like that's because maybe that's just because that's what I've been buying lately. Like God of War is a pretty short game if you don't do anything other than
Bro,
story.
they all flanked around the fucking right, bro. What the hell? And our
Hitman 2
dumbass
is
Hammond
just-
is still just swinging around in left field somewhere.
I've got unfinished.
Hitman 2 is just 6 levels. Resident Evil games are always short. Red Dead is an exception. That's long. That game is too long.
Oh my god, man, I give up.
Okay, I want to ask a serious question to both of you. How much time do you think is an appropriately long, like not too short, not too like the sweet spot? How long is the sweet
I'd be
spot
joking, dude.
I'm gonna say like 30
for a story? Like, for a story,
Yeah, 30 to 40 hours.
So if the story takes you 30 to 40 hours, that's the sweet spot to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
Spider-Man.
you're saying story only.
Story only, yes.
I would say 12 hours.
Well, when you say a playthrough,
When I say story
I mean,
only, when I say story only, I don't mean like, oh, just the cut. No, I mean like the gameplay you do in between cutscenes. Like, if you were playing the game and you were only following the story, right? You didn't do any side content. How long would you want to be playing that game?
dude, there's a
40
fucking
hours.
Genji behind.
So Antoine, is your answer still about 30 hours?
Yeah, 30, 40 hours.
Aaron, I'm guessing that's about your answer too, right?
Bro!
Story only?
Bro,
Yeah, like,
what are
again,
we doing?
If you were playing the game and you were only playing the story, you didn't play any side content, nothing, just only the story, how long would you want that experience to be? How long? What's the sweet spot for you?
If it's just a story? What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, if you were
What
just
is
playing-
this?
So Antoine said 30 to 40 hours, and I'm gonna guess that's about the same for you.
If it's just a story, there's no story that's just gonna be 30 to 40 hours, to be honest.
I know, but I mean, if you're well, no, there are stories that definitely take that long, or hell, even longer than that. But I don't mean just like the cutscenes. I mean, if you were playing the game
That
and you only
Genji was
did
try hard as fuck.
because I think Antoine's 12-hour answer was like just the cutscenes in the story.
Play of the game.
Because yeah, that's a bit too short.
Well, okay, yeah, then it's gonna be like 30, 40 hours.
Alright, so let me ask you a slightly different question. What is the sour spot? If you're playing just the story, how much is too long for just the story?
If it goes more than 12 hours, and
Can we stop saying just a story?
right? Because
Well, you know,
honestly,
Well, you know what I mean by that.
but we're talking
I'm
about like a whole playthrough, though. Like you're not just focused on the story, but you're not like slaying out all the
Yeah,
side
but
quests
that's-
either.
But that's a lot harder to calculate because now.
Man, no, we
Not
all three
necessarily,
understand
because-
that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
We've
any single player game. When you look up a review or some shit, they're always gonna tell you how long their playthrough is or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're like us, then all three of us understand when you're watching a review and they're talking about their playthrough, they're generally talking about the story, but you also understand that they've done a few side quests on the way, because in most games nowadays, especially single player games, even when you're doing the story, there's like, even if it's a single player game, there's like some type of RPG quote unquote aspect to it where you have to level up your character, right? And then most people are just like, okay, I'm gonna just do a few side quests so I can get to the level I need to be at to feel comfortable doing this next piece of content or whatever. And that's genuine. That's talking about their playthrough time. And I would say like a normal, average person's playthrough time with like a game like God of War or Spider-Man or something like that, it's going to be like 30 to 40 hours.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about a game like The Witcher, where it's like straight RPG, like straight up and down RPG mechanics and that shit. And it's like there's a fuck ton of side quests, right?
Yeah.
That type of playthrough is gonna take you
80
double,
plus.
80 to 100 hours, right? So it's like, and that's just on average. So that's not taking into account like everybody's thing being the exact same, but it's like everybody's
Some
shit
people making stuff.
kind of counted up against each other, and then like you kind of come to one number.
I know, but the reason I'm saying just the story is because for different people playing outside of the story, playing some side content, someone might play one side quest and then go right back to the story. But to somebody else, they might play 6 or 7 and then hop back in. I'm sure the usual amount is like probably like me. I probably play like 2 or maybe 3, and then I hop right back into the story. But
I'm sure you're right. I would just say like when
that's
you
why
say
it's-
when you talk about a playthrough or the story, it's like
yeah,
the
I mean,
three of us
strictly-
understand
I
that.
do mean strictly the story, because if you start adding the side content, then that's going to add a different amount of time for everybody.
Okay,
Literally.
so strictly the story.
Strictly playing through the
I
story.
would say 12 hours.
Yeah.
Strictly the story. Between like 12 and 20 hours, strictly the story
Yeah.
That's the
for
sweet
a
spot.
single player game. Yeah.
All right. Now, again, the next question I asked was, how long is too long? Like, if the story is now 30 hours, again, strictly the story is 30 hours. Is that like wrap it up, folks?
I don't think there is a single player game that could have too long of a story, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like, because me,
can.
my shit is like, you're talking to a Destiny 1 player, bro. Like, their shit was fucking 5 or 6 hours, and there was so much cut shit out of there.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I know
and then
it's-
their shit wasn't even finished. Like, you're talking about major plot holes. So as long as the story is well put together, it doesn't have a bunch of plot holes, and you know you understand it, you're following it, and it's kind of gripping you to the point where you're getting into it, then you're not really worried about how long the story is, you know. And then it could go on forever as long as you know it wraps itself up and you kind of understand all the different aspects of it, you know. So it's like,
And that is perfectly fair.
yeah. So I guess to answer your question, there's not really a story that can go too long.
Yeah, is that it is subjective for some people. I mean, it's subjective for everybody. And I do think it's completely valid to say, as long as the story grips you, you don't really care how long the story is, as long as it continues.
Right.
And that's perfectly valid. That is a good point.
To get back to the original talking point, I feel like Spider-Man was a very good game, and it was not too short. Wasn't
I
too
felt
long,
it was.
Yeah.
and
Like I feel like even the
gameplay was
overall game. I feel like even the overall game, even including all of the side content, which is primarily just collectibles. I felt it was short, and I felt it definitely wasn't as fleshed out as it could be. Because literally, what did you have to do outside of the story? Because the story was the thing that included all different kinds of mechanics. Sometimes
That's true, yeah. That's true.
So outside of the story, literally all there was collecting backpacks and standing on top of antennas, all leap of faith.
That kind of goes into like why I was rating Horizon and God of War above it, because it's like the combat in those games, like Spider-Man's combat is really fun, but it's very simple. And then on top of that, like the world is big, but it's also really simple.
yeah.
You know, it's not like, you know,
Yeah,
you
the
have
rough part
a
is
very nice looking world to play in, but it's one of those situations where they kind of filled it up with a bunch of random shit and just been like, okay, yeah, like here's a good, dope story that's gonna take, you know, between 12 and 20 hours to complete, and then while you're doing that, you know, you collect all of this other stuff, you know what I mean? And then you have like suits, yeah. But in God of War, it has more of a Dark Souls vibe, so it's like if you're not into that, then that becomes like a preference thing. But once you get to a certain point into God of War, like the combat just opens the fuck up, bro. Like you're doing like crazy combos and shit like that. Like once you start figuring out the mechanics, it actually doesn't feel like a Dark Souls game anymore. It feels much more reminiscent of like an actual God of War game. And then with Horizon, it kind of has a similar situation with its environment that Spider-Man does, where it's kind of filled with a bunch of stuff and side missions and stuff. But one thing that Horizon does is like it allows you to make choices and shit, and like you can make different kinds of builds for different scenarios and stuff. Like the enemies have different kinds of weaknesses and shit, like to fire and corruption, and you can set up traps, and it's like there's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and then on top of that, like
wait, Aaron, wait, I actually don't know anything about Horizon. Before you continue, can you tell me what genre this game is?
It's like a action adventures, with the hint of RPG mechanics in it.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I like Horizon's, like the depth in its combat is just like really crazy to me, and then on top of that, like the world is really fucking beautiful, and there are different types of terrains in it and stuff, so it's like you're never just in one location. It's like every location has like different terrain and stuff in it, different enemies. And if you don't like approach an enemy correctly, like you will get fucked up in that game, bro.
Yeah.
If you're playing on anything above like normal and above, like you will get fucked up. So it is reasonably punishing. And like I said, bro, like the strategy in the game is just like fucking top notch, bro. Like.
And I'm guessing you played it.
Me? Yeah, I've beaten it, and the DLC. That game, honestly, like that's my best game on PlayStation 4. That's come out the entire generation. I don't expect that Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us Part 2 will be better than that. So I'm just kind of like that's it. But all those other games are fire as fuck. Like Spider-Man, when I was playing that shit, I was having so much fucking fun, bro. That game is so lit, dude. Like, and it's really just it's like Horizon just has like an edge over it. It's not like Horizon is fucking fantastic, but Spider-Man's like fucking lit on it in its own right, bro. It's like because when you're fucking swinging around the fucking city,
it's kind of hard
and doing
to
all that
compare,
shit.
The games, because even though they're in the same genre, so to speak, because they're both action adventure, they're still in different subgenres. Like Spider-Man's more of a straight up beat 'em up style, right?
The Arkham games, yeah.
Yeah, like the Arkham games. So
it's
going.
And I would
to
understand
be...
why you would favor that, because it's like you come from Bayonetta and all that type of shit. You know what I mean? And then the combos are out here, bro. Like when you actually learn the combos and shit, like you just doing like crazy shit in that game, bro.
Because I'm saying like it's gonna be really hard for it to have things outside. Like a beat 'em up having a good story is kind of hard to come by, right? Like
yeah, for sure.
Beat 'em ups usually don't have stories that span like a motherfucker into different shit. Where you're like,
no, they
what
usually
happened?
just have a big action-packed, explosion-filled story.
Exactly. So. I get what you mean by, like its story was kind of simple and it wasn't much shit to do, and that makes the game shorter. Because
wait,
it's like,
who said that?
Someone was, it was either Aaron or you, Kevin. One of you were saying the story was.
I said the story was short. I didn't say it was simple. I said it was short.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So short, right? But then you were saying But then you were saying what do you do what else do you do outside of
outside of that, you're literally just collecting backpacks, standing on top of antennas, and clearing out bases. And there's like 80 of them. You got to do a whole combat.
Hell, beat 'em ups usually don't even have
don't even have that
collectibles
much.
like that. Yeah,
I know
exactly.
they usually don't even have side. I know they don't usually have side content.
it's pretty hard to really down. Like, I don't feel like we're downplaying it because we're all still saying that it's a great game. But it is kind of hard to pit it up against God of War. Well, God of War is a beat 'em up though, right? Can we say that?
I think you could classify it as one.
Can we still classify it as one?
Okay. Like
It's kind of stretching it though, right?
Alright.
Well, okay. So anyway, I think God of War took more of an RPG approach to everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's
So
for sure, definitely.
that one is also going to be more fleshed out than Spider-Man. It's kind of hard to. It's just because it's a beat 'em up. It's kind of hard to really put it in that.
Well,
category.
no, it's not okay. But it's what you're saying is that we should cut the game some slack for not having more fleshed out side content because it's a semi beat 'em up. Is that are you defending the game by saying that?
Son of a bitch. Sorry, I'm like.
You need me to repeat?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Are you saying that we should cut Spider-Man some slack because it's a semi beat 'em up and that's why and that's why its side content isn't that fleshed out?
I'm just giving another perspective because like at the end of it all, this is all opinion as fuck, right? Because if you enjoy beat 'em ups more and you don't like God of War style games, then you're gonna be like, dude, it's fucking Spider-Man all the way, right?
But that's the thing. So this is, and I think this is going to be a great comparison here. So I am gonna directly compare the newest Spider-Man game to Batman Arkham City. My bad, not Arkham City. Actually, either one.
Arkham Knight.
I'm gonna compare it to Arkham Knight specifically, even though honestly Arkham City would have also been fine. The story in Arkham Knight from what I remember, I do think it was a lot longer. I do think it was a lot longer because I remember playing Arkham Knight and feeling like the game was a little too drawn out.
Oh my doom!
And I didn't feel that way at all with Spider-Man. So I do think Arkham Knight was a bit longer. And it does have more varied side content. Maybe not Arkham Knight specifically, but it does have more varied... The series overall does have more varied side content. It's not just about clearing waves of enemies using the already existing battle mechanic, because it actually gives you completely different shit to do. Like, for example, in Arkham City and in Arkham Origins, and one time in Arkham Knight, which is unfortunate, they only did it once, there's a whole detective mode side aspect. You can have Batman go to the scene of crime.
I remember this, yeah.
And you can use his detective vision to literally rewind time of a crime scene and then scan things. It literally becomes a puzzle game in that aspect right there. Whenever you do some detective shit, you're literally playing a puzzle game. And that is completely different from anything else we do in the whole rest of the game. We literally never do that in the main parts of the game. We only do that as a side thing. And it's unique to that. And it's completely different from fighting people or the stealth mechanics. The fighting or stealth mechanics. And that right there is a great example of how you can have side content be more fleshed out, because it doesn't just have to be clearing out waves of enemies using the already existing battle mechanic, or clearing out a room of enemies using the already existing stealth mechanic. It can be something brand new. Now, how do you do that with Spider-Man specifically? Well, that's not my job. That's literally what the development team has to come up with. They have to come up with what other things can Spider-Man do besides beat people up and sneak around them. They figured it out with Batman, which admittedly was... but that is an original concept. As far as I know, I don't think Detective Vision is a real thing in any Batman content that is not the Arkham games. I don't think Detective Vision is a thing in any ways, in the movies or in the comics. So they did come up with something completely unique that completely suits Batman, by the way. It's something that completely suits his character and enhances the gameplay by making it more varied. Now you're not just beating people up and sneaking around them. And I felt like they definitely could have done something like that with Spider-Man, because everything was just beating up and sneaking around. And they did a good job in the story, because you're not always doing that. Sometimes you're playing as a different character. Like you play as Mary Jane, or you can play as... what's his name again? What was the kid's name again?
Miles.
Miles.
Yeah.
Miles Morales, yeah. You know, the story varied it up by letting you do different things, and not to mention the story had boss battles too, which also greatly helps in enhancing.
Yeah. But I think between the 3 games we were talking about, it's like, yeah, all of them had boss battles as well, so it's kind of like, or
No,
like
nice.
directly comparing those 3, you know. So it's like,
I'm not complaining. Look, I'm not complaining about the story apart from it feeling kind of short to me. I'm not complaining about the story beyond the length of the story. Like the actual story itself was great. The things you did in terms of gameplay during the story while you're playing the story was great too, because I felt they did a great job in making the story feel varied, in making playing through the main story feel varied, because you weren't always just beating people up and sneaking around them. There were actual different things you could do during the story. Now, what I am complaining about is that the unfortunate thing is, outside of the story, there's not very much variety in content. It's literally collecting things, fighting people, and sneaking around people. That was literally all the side content. Was literally that. Whereas the story...
what?
That Zarya was so low, bro. What the fuck?
And they were all purple, bro.
So this is all to say, the entire reason I even brought this up. This is all to say, I feel like they could have added more. This is why I feel like the first Spider-Man was more of a tech demo than anything else. It's very clear. It's very clear they want to make a franchise off of these.
Of course.
Yeah.
PS4 exclusive Spider-Man games that are not tied to any movies. That's very clear. And I did feel that the first Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2018, was a bit lacking in side content. That, to me, makes the game feel like more of a tech demo. They want to show us what they're capable of doing before they really get into the nitty-gritty of what they want to do with the series. You get me?
Yeah.
That's why I personally feel like Spider-Man 2018 is a bit of a tech demo. And I was a little disappointed with... I literally wasn't disappointed with the story or anything with the main content. I was literally just disappointed with the rest of the game, with literally everything else outside of the core mechanic. Like I didn't even like.
Fuck, man, she got bubbled right on time.
The stealth mechanics I liked. I actually liked the stealth mechanics, but I actually didn't like the fighting mechanics that much. I felt like they were a little. I don't want to say clunky. They were a little. They weren't smooth. I didn't feel like my button presses were making Spider-Man seamlessly jump between enemies as he was attacking them. Like, for example, in Arkham City, Batman, admittedly unrealistically, just glides in between to the next guy.
Yeah.
I admit that's very unrealistic. But that would be so much more fitting with Spider-Man. How come Spider-Man can't just seamlessly glide from one guy to the next guy?
I don't know. It made it more challenging, to be honest, because now you have to put in your own jumps and shit.
No, it did. It absolutely did make it more challenging. I do have an easier time getting flawless run-throughs in Batman fighting.
Yeah, because you just kind of glide from one person to the next.
Exactly, and then I did feel like there was, I did feel like the fighting wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I actually tried to avoid it as much as I could. Whenever there was a segment where you could choose to fight through or sneak through, I always chose sneaking through, because I actually really liked the stealth mechanic.
Yeah, the stealth mechanic was pretty good.
So I'm sure they're going to improve on the battle mechanics for the next game. I look forward to what they do with it. I'm sure, as they always do with sequels are always meant to be bigger, better, and typically longer. So I really do look forward. For me, Spider-Man 2 is going to be what Spider-Man 1 should have been. Assuming they don't fuck it up, of course. Assuming they don't fuck it up. Which I'm sure they probably won't.
Yeah, they're not fucking EA.
I mean, for me, it's like... Well, I don't really know what they could have did differently. Maybe I'm just not imaginative enough to like...
That's the thing. You don't even have to be imaginative. Literally... Whatever they do new in Spider-Man 2 will be the exact answer to that question. You don't know what they could have done. They have to do something for Spider-Man 2, and that's what they could have done for the first Spider-Man.
Yeah. But then at that point, by the time the next Spider-Man comes out, I would imagine that, the 2018 Spider-Man is going to be at least 5 or 6 years old. It's like, it's not like Spider-Man was like a launch title or some shit. You know what I mean? And it takes a while to develop a game, so I'm just like,
and we literally know that launch titles for a console are literally tech demos.
Yeah.
We know that. I'm not, yeah, but I do feel like Spider-Man is a bit of a tech demo. Not a tech demo as for like what the console could do, more of like a series demo. They're showing us what their game wants to do, not so much what the console is capable of. That's more of what I mean. I feel like they definitely held back on stuff they wanted to do, maybe due to time constraints even. You know, it's not always a developer's fault. I mean, I feel like they definitely could have done more, but they didn't for one reason or another.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say, right, is I feel like Spider-Man was a complete game from start to finish, and I didn't feel like anything was really missing. Like, I didn't feel like they cut some shit out.
I definitely feel the cutting shit out.
right. It's like
I felt it.
It's like you made a great game on PS4, and then PS5, you're gonna make a sequel to that game, and just about any sequel ever, when it comes to games, always add something new. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I can't imagine like that they were like, before they even started developing the game, they're just sitting there like, oh man, this seems really awesome. We should definitely do this, and we're totally able to because we're not restricted by time constraints or, you know, like fucking technology or anything. So we should do this, but let's save it for the second game instead of putting it in the first. You know what I mean? It's like,
I do feel like that happened for that game.
Yeah,
I feel like it did.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
I don't see it. That's
Again,
what I was
like my only proof, the only proof I can show you is the lack of variety outside, which there definitely could have been. I hope that I've proven that there definitely could have been more variety for the side content. Because I gave a prime example. Batman is a game that plays just like Spider-Man, and they managed to have much more varied side content. Now, to be fair, Batman Arkham Knight is the 4th installment of the series. You know, so they already had a lot more of their publisher's support and money put into it because they already knew that this was going to be a good seller.
Well,
and that's fair. It's fair if you say that as a defense.
Side content in what way?
Well, I just said. So outside of just beating people up and sneaking around them, like you do in both Spider-Man 2018 and in Batman Arkham, whatever, any of them, all of them. Outside of that, the side content also does throw in completely new things, like the solving a crime thing. You know, that's in the Batman game, starting with Arkham City, I believe, they added a new mechanic for side content where you can go to crime scene. Because remember, Batman's a detective, so he doesn't just
right.
He also solves crimes. So they added a new mechanic for side content, by the way, where you're able to go to crime scenes and solve crimes. Suddenly, the game's not about fighting or sneaking. Suddenly, the game is about puzzles.
Well, then at that point, it's not necessarily about the developers, it's about the characters themselves, right? Because Batman is a detective, but Spider-Man, that's not his...
No, I know, but it is... I'm not saying they have to specifically do a thing where Spider-Man solves crimes.
Right.
What I'm saying is... So Batman, as far as I know, Batman doesn't have this detective vision thing that he has installed into his suit in the Batman games. He has this X-ray vision that lets him also rewind time for cutscenes, not for cutscenes, for crime scenes. Right? It's unrealistic, I know, but it's a comic book game. And I'm not saying they have to do that specifically. I'm saying, so these people created a new mechanic that Batman has never been known to do or have in any previously existing Batman media.
Oh my god, bro. Our tanks are scary as fuck.
Yeah, how far back they're standing.
I'm telling you, dude.
It's crazy.
Look, the point is, the developers created a mechanic that Batman has never been known to have just for this game. The developer, and that is a developer thing, and developers could totally have come up with something. I don't know what, but they could have come up with something To add
I
variety.
mean, I don't know what you mean, bro. It's like Batman always had the fucking crazy tech in his goggles where he could see that type of shit. Like you watch it, you can watch movies or TV shows. It's like it's always different. You know what I mean? It's like the Batman games aren't following any type of like movie or anything, but the tech is like he's Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? It's like he's a fucking
And Spider-Man
billionaire tech genius and shit. Like it's like him having goggles that let him analyze fucking blood on the ground and heat signatures and shit. Like that's not too far beyond the pale. You know, it's like that's something Batman would have.
Yeah, that's
Whereas with Spider-Man, right? I get they're not the same character and he's not a detective. And there are certain things that they could have maybe done
for Spider-Man specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
But outside of, but I'm saying it's like, what exactly would that be?
Now, see, that's the thing. I don't actually have to come up with what they could have done because that's literally their job. The developers.
Yeah, but I'm saying like as somebody who watches Spider-Man, right? It's like if you can complain about them not having something like that, then it's like it should be like you should have at least thought about you know like oh it's like they could have used this gadget that Spider-Man used in fucking this comic book or some shit. You know what I mean? It's like if you're there and you're talking about it like that, then it's like what really could they have done? You know?
Alright, okay, well I disagree with you. That I need to come up with an answer for that in order to.
I'm not saying you need to. I'm saying like if I'm saying if you could come to the conclusion like they could have done something, right? But then you yourself don't really know enough about like the fucking hero or whatever. It's not though. That's not unfair.
It is unfair because look, you're asking me to come up with something that, and I'm just one guy. Their development team is a whole team of people.
Of course.
You know, shooting ideas off of each other. My lack of creativity for what they could have done with Spider-Man is not an argument for what could they have done with Spider-Man. Like, there's literally nothing they could have done. If you can't think of something that they could have done with Spider-Man, then there's literally nothing.
But I'm not okay. So I'm not asking you to come up with something based off of like technology that they have available to them. I'm simply talking about. We're talking about Batman being a detective, right? Yes. So Batman is a detective, and therefore he can have certain gameplay elements surrounding that aspect of Batman, right? Yeah. As far as we know, Spider-Man is a dude with spider-like powers that beats up bad guys and saves the day. Like, he's pretty straightforward. So I'm just like, outside of that, it's like, where could you have gone, right? So, but if you could say, oh, they could have done X, Y, and Z, or they should have came up with something. It's like, what could they have come up with? You know what I mean? It's like, if there's something that they could have come up with, they would have based it off a comic book or a movie that everybody's seen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, at that point, if you watch Spider-Man or know of Spider-Man, it shouldn't be too hard to come up with something. Like, for example, like they have the different gadgets, like the different web bombs and shit in the game, which you see Spider-Man used in all different types of TV shows and different issues of comics. They have all of his fucking Spider-Man suits and stuff in the game from different comics and movies and stuff. But outside of that, right, there's not really much else to Spider-Man other than him being Spider-Man, beating up bad guys, being in love with Mary Jane, having Gwen Stacy as a side chick. You know what I mean? It's like they went into detail with just about everything they could have gone into detail with. Whereas Batman being Batman has like this other half to him because because he has no powers, and a lot of Batman is based off of the characters and, you know, Bruce Wayne being Batman and the shit that he has access to, and then you can kind of, like, he has no power, so what else is he gonna be other than, you know, some fucking crazy fucking martial artist detective and shit, you know what I mean? it's like, and then all his gameplay is gonna cater to that, whereas Spider-Man's gameplay is gonna cater to him having spider powers, which they do extremely well in that game. So it's just like, I don't really know what else they could have done as far as.
Well, okay, look, I actually did come up with an idea just now.
Okay.
I actually did come up with an idea just now. Before I continue, though, Antoine, who were you more siding with here? Before I continue, like, do you get what I'm?
I can't be on anyone's side right now. Both sides.
Yeah, I'm not really
Both sides are doing pretty fucking well right now, bro. Like, in all honesty, you both made really good points. He's saying from someone who knows Spider-Man lore and has played other Spider-Man games and has seen Spider-Man, read Spider-Man comic books, whatever, right? What could they have possibly added that would still stick with the Spider-Man lore?
Aesthetic.
Right? Yeah. And then Batman, it's kind of easy to give him a detective thing. Even if, right?
He's never directly used something like that. Yes, they based it off of something, I'm sure, but they could easily have based something a bit far-reaching for Spider-Man based on something simple he did one time in one obscure comic book. Or hell, or even something completely original that he's never done before, as long as it kind of fits. Yeah, I can see Spider-Man doing that. I've never seen him do it before, but I can see him doing that from now on. You know, that's
I guess I think that's unfair to the devs at that point, because
it's not
one thing I think it is, because like one thing about the superhero games, right, is like the people that play that shit know that shit. So it's like if Spider-Man's fucking in there doing fucking flying around like Superman, or you know they give him some other mechanic and shit that has nothing to do with Spider-Man, then people are going to be like, man, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
That's the thing. It doesn't have to be anything that far out. I'm not talking.
Well,
I'm
just using that as an example, but
I mean, okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's get to it then. This is what I came up with. That I think if they had done this in Spider-Man 2018, I don't think that would have been, based on what we've been seeing in that game. I don't think that's that far out there. Okay, so here's what it is. They could have fleshed out the hacking mechanic. Because remember, Spider-Man would hack into things and then that dumb little minigame would show up. And pretty much nobody liked that minigame. They even give you the option to skip it. Just skip the minigame. Yeah. So no one really liked that. So they could have fleshed that out, and then imagine this. Imagine having web swinging powers, enhanced strength, enhanced speed, everything that being Spider-Man adds to you. And on top of that, because he is a smart guy, he is a scientist, he also has watchdog powers. He can hack into anything and use them just like the dude in Watch Dogs. He can hack into anything and use it.
Man, Spider-Man's a biologist or a chemist. That has nothing to do with hacking.
But then
that's what I'm saying. It's like that.
But he did hack into things anyway. Regardless, he did hack into things. He just didn't.
That's true.
He just didn't use them. He just hacked into them and then accessed a file and then took that file out, and then that's it. He never hacked into something and had control over it. But I'm saying they could have added that, and I don't think anybody would have been that bothered by it. I think they would have been like, I can see Spider-Man doing that. He's supposed to be a smart guy.
Okay.
He invented the web shooters that he's wearing and all the other gadgets, which help from Dr. Octopus, but Dr. Octopus could have easily helped him with a hacking device too, if the story needed it.
Yeah.
So here's an example right there. Imagine literally Spider-Man with Watch Dogs hacking. Literally. Imagine that. That's pretty fucking epic. Right there.
I mean, it would, but then you're playing the game with like how far removed from the actual Spider-Man shit are we getting, right?
It doesn't have to focus that much on the hacking like Watch Dogs does. It can focus on it significantly less, and then still be more, again, because this is all about variety. I'm not saying add hacking to spice up Spider-Man as a whole. I'm saying add hacking to spice up the content in the game. So we can have fighting waves of enemies, we can have sneaking past waves of enemies, and then that's all we have. We have collecting, sneaking, and fighting. But now, just adding a new hacking mechanic adds more variety to the sneaking and the fighting, and even hacking as its own thing. There could be specific collectibles that require Spider-Man to hack some little device that goes through the air vents that he can't fit into because they're too small for him to fit into. And right there, you got one completely unique, has nothing to do with fighting, has nothing to do with sneaking mechanic, that just even one extra thing adds so much variety. Even just one extra thing.
Okay, but think about it like this, right? So you just listed off a bunch of shit that Spider-Man can do, but Batman can't.
Batman can hack into things. He just again hasn't taken control.
Well, no, I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying like there are aspects of Spider-Man's gameplay that don't exist in Batman, right? Just like there would be aspects of Batman gameplay that don't exist in Spider-Man. Exactly. So it's exactly. So it's like, is it really not differentiated just because it's different? They're just different. Like that just kind of goes back to what I said before.
Look, yeah, the characters are different, but the gameplay is literally not. The gameplay literally isn't different. Go play the fighting mechanics in Batman. Go play the sneaking mechanics in Batman. Apart from web swinging and the fact that Batman can glide, apart from those two things, literally they're not different. Literally, they're not different at all. They're literally the same fighting mechanic and the same sneaking mechanic.
Damn, dude.
Like literally.
Right.
And I have never at any point, I don't want anyone to think this, I don't know if anyone does, but just to make sure no one is, I have never at any point been complaining that Spider-Man is too similar to the game Arkham whatever.
Yeah.
I've never been saying that, and hell, I like Arkham whatever, so if I were playing Spider-Man and it played like Arkham, I personally wouldn't mind that. I enjoy Arkham, so why wouldn't I enjoy a Spider-Man game that plays like a game that I like? A lot of people have a problem with that, but I personally don't really. But anyway, so no, I've never been making that comparison. We can separate Arkham from Spider-Man completely from this argument, and I think I'm still making a perfectly valid point. That Spider-Man on its own, the game, not the character, the game Spider-Man 2018 on its own, outside of the story, had next to no content outside of the story. It was just...
I agree with that.
More fighting, more sneaking, and that's it. Nothing new happened outside of the story that we didn't already do in the story. And new things definitely happened.
Bro, what the fuck is she... Oh my god, man.
Alright, so we agree on that. I mean, yeah, great. Awesome. So all this was just to say I felt the story was literally my only complaint. It was a great game. It's definitely it was such a good game. I absolutely would replay it. I absolutely would replay it. Literally, if I had to complain, like gun to my head, if I had to complain, I would say I would have liked for the story to be a little longer. You know, I like playing games that I like for longer, and I feel like the side content could have been a little more varied in some way, in some fashion. I feel like they could.
I agree with pretty much all of that. I just think the story was.
The story was great.
A good length. Like I didn't find it to be too short.
Same.
The only reason I'm complaining that it was too short is because I enjoyed the game, and I would have loved to have been playing the game for even longer than I did. Like if they had added 10 hours to that, if they would have added 10 hours to the total gameplay, as long as those 10 hours were still fun, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Hell, even then it might have still felt too short to me, because I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this game. But maybe that's the thing. Maybe the game ended right where it did because they knew if they went any longer, the decline would start to happen with the fun. Which definitely happens. You know, stories can go on for so long, and they can still be fun from beginning to end, but there was definitely a moment there where the fun peaked. So maybe Spider-Man decided to end the story where it did on a high note, because they knew, like, oh, we did all our best shit, we don't want to start repeating anything. Like, we're sure it'll be fun if people have to do everything, like, 2 times, but 3 times.
They're over here, Dart.
Okay.
So maybe that's just it. Maybe they ended the game where they did because they knew if they continued any further, the fun would start to decline. You know, leave them wanting more kind of deal, which is perfectly fair. TV shows do it all the time. Movies do that all the time.
Our team was so slow rotating over here. It's fucking crazy.
Oh my god, I almost got that off, dude.
By the way, I think Alicia is here like an hour ago. I think she's been here.
Yeah, she likes to lurk.
Right. Lurking Alicia did.
Damn, don't tell me is she here?
I'm pretty sure she is. I mean, I hope she is, or something's wrong.
Known. She should make herself known. I swear I heard her
Fucking
voice.
Moira, bro. Oh my god.
I tried to shoot her, but then Roadhog came right around the fucking corner trying to hook me.
I swear I heard her voice like an hour ago.
Alright, everybody shut up. Alicia. Yeah, she's not here.
No, she's here.
Man, I heard her. I just heard her, bro.
Me too.
Mac and cheese? See, that's her right there, bro. What the fuck?
Mac and
You've
cheese.
been here the whole time.
Man, lose a few inches in height, and I'm sure you'll be a dead ringer for Alicia right there. Antoine won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, you guys are basically twins, too. Why are we still playing this shit, bro? Honestly.
Yeah, it is getting pretty stupid.
So Alicia's been gone for over an hour. Isn't that just typical of her?
If you're down for Apex, I am.